Welcome to my Survey Research Methods class. I'm Dr. Walter Leite. I am a professor of Research and Evaluation Methodology at the College of Education. Today's focus is on understanding the variety of ways in which surveys are conducted in the modern era. We will explore the history of survey methods, key innovations, and why survey research remains both vital and challenging. Our session will help build the foundation for conducting rigorous and effective surveys in diverse contexts. Surveys are incredibly versatile tools used across a variety of fields to collect data. They are conducted for many different reasons, such as understanding public opinion, evaluating a product, and informing policy decisions. The scale and scope of surveys can vary dramatically, ranging from small, localized studies to large national assessments. Despite these differences, all surveys share a common goal: to gather information that can help answer a particular question or solve a specific problem. The variety in survey design allows researchers to address a diverse set of research objectives in a way that's efficient and effective for the target population. Psychometric scales and surveys are both tools for data collection, but they are used in different contexts. This class is only about surveys. Psychometric scales are designed to measure a latent construct such as personalized traits or attitudes. Typically include several items that are highly correlated with each other. Scales help researchers measure abstract concepts reliably. In contrast, surveys contain items that may or may not be related to each other, often assessing directly observable characteristics like demographic information or preferences. Unlike psychometric scales, survey may only use a few items to measure complex constructs, and the items are not necessarily correlated with each other. With surveys, you are not measuring latent variables. It's important to understand the difference between a census and a survey. A census includes every member of the target population, providing complete data. However, conducting a census can be time-consuming and resource-intensive. This is where sample surveys come in. By surveying only a portion of the population, you can still make estimates about the entire population with a reasonable level of precision. The precision is known as margin of error. Probability-based sample surveys are particularly efficient because they allow researchers to generalize findings from a small, representative sample to the broader population, saving time and resources. No-probability surveys, unlike probability-based surveys, do not rely on random sampling to select participants. Instead, they often use convenience sampling, where participants are selected based on their availability or willingness to volunteer. Common examples include mall intercept surveys or online volunteer panels. While these surveys can be faster and cheaper to administer, they are prone to bias since participants may differ significantly from those who did not participate. As a result, non-probability surveys cannot provide reliable estimates of population characteristics, limiting their use in making generalizations about the population. Survey error is inevitable, but understanding and minimizing them is key to conducting reliable research. There are four main types of survey error that researchers must consider: coverage error, sampling error, no-response error, and measurement error. Each type of error can impact the accuracy of survey results, so it's crucial to address them in the survey design and implementation process. No single type of error should be ignored, as they all contribute to potential discrepancy between survey estimates and population parameters. Coverage error occurs when the sampling frame, which is a list of members from which the sample is drawn, does not accurately reflect the target population. This might happen if some individuals are excluded from the list or if the list contains people who are not part of the population being studied. Coverage error can lead to undercoverage, which is where certain segments of the population are not represented in the sample, or overcoverage, where groups that should not be included are included. Minimizing coverage error is essential to ensuring that the sample is representative of the population. Therefore, researchers need to identify a method to obtain a sampling frame that represents the population, or combining different sampling frames if a single one is not enough. An example of a sampling frame is a list of members of a professional organization that's obtained directly from the professional organization with contact information, or maybe a list of teachers with contact that's obtained directly from the school district. Sampling error refers to the difference between the estimate produced from a sample and the true value that would be obtained from the population. This type of error occurs in every survey because we are estimating population parameters based on a small group. Its size is captured by the standard error of an estimate. Sampling error can be minimized with proper sampling techniques. Some sampling methods, such as stratified sampling, produces less sampling error than simple random sampling. And the smaller the sampling error, the tighter the confidence interval around the estimate. So we refer to as the smallest the margin of error of a survey. Non-response error arises when individuals selected from the survey fail to respond. This can lead to biased results if the respondents differ in a meaningful way from those that respond. Okay, so it's a type of selection bias. For example, if only certain types of people, such as those with strong opinions about a topic, complete the survey, the results will not accurately reflect the views of the overall population. Unfortunately, any response rate, doesn't matter how high it is, may still leave space for the response error. Achieving a high response rate is one way to minimize response error, but it does not guarantee that it will not occur. Even if you have a 95% response rate, those 5% that did not respond may be systematically different than the 95%. Measurement error occurs when respondents provide inaccurate answers to survey questions, leading to discrepancies between the data collection and true values. This can happen for various reasons, such as poorly designed questions, respondent misunderstanding, or bias in how the respondent interprets the questions. Measurement error can also result from survey mode effects, such as the influence of the method of data collection. So, for example, comparing an online survey with a face-to-face administered survey may result in different amounts of measurement error. Minimizing measurement error is critical for obtaining reliable data, and this is done with careful survey design, clear question wording, and proper respondent training for the implementation of the survey. Pre-testing the survey extensively is a good way to try to minimize measurement error. As technology continues to evolve, the ways in which surveys are conducted are also changing. Traditional modes of surveys, such as phone and mail, are no longer as dominant as they were once. New technologies, particularly the internet, have opened up more ways to reach survey respondents, but this also introduces new challenges. The survey environment is constantly evolving, with survey methods increasingly rely on mixed mode designs that combine different data collection methods to optimize response rates and reach different segments of the population. Understanding these changes is crucial for staying relevant in modern survey research. So there are several reasons for the decline in phone and mail surveys. The rise of cell phones has made it harder to reach people with landline, and many individuals screen their calls, never answering if their phone is not in their contacts. Additionally, spam mail is very prevalent, and telemarketing also, and they have reduced the response rates from surveys. So as traditional methods become less reliable, researchers have turned to internet surveys, which offer flexibility, can reach a wider audience, but they are also easier to ignore. So it's critical to do implementation method that maximizes the probability that individuals will respond to the survey. There are several challenges for internet surveys, such as unlisted email addresses make it difficult to reach all members of the population, duplicated email addresses, or email addresses that you were not sure if the individual is a member of the population or not. Internet surveys also face issues with uneven levels of technology and differences in digital literacy. There may be concerns about confidentiality and security, and some members of the population may have stronger concerns than others. There are also may be substantial burden when the survey is long, or the particular respondent receives too many surveys. This leads to lower response rates. Despite the challenges associated with internet surveys, there are some new trends to address these issues. So, for example, mail surveys are experiencing a resurgence as researchers look for alternatives. They can combine mail survey with internet survey. Also, mail surveys are less vulnerable to be perceived as scams as internet surveys, and you can make a design that makes it look important. Surveys are also shifting the focus to meet the need of respondents rather than needs of the organization conducting the survey. There is a growing use of smartphones and tablets to create survey tools, allowing collection of data in real time, such as logging of activities. New research and survey methodologies increasingly focus on understanding the effects of different survey modes and designs. For example, social desirability bias, which is when respondents answer in a way they think is social desirable but is not truthful, can vary depending on whether you have an online survey or a face-to-face survey, an interviewed and administered survey. So other topics that differ between types of surveys are order effects, or the sequence of questions that how the sequence of questions influences the responses, and the processing of visual information can be different between paper and screen. These areas of research are critical in refining methods and improving the validity of surveys. The tailor design method, created by Don Dillman and his colleagues, is a key approach for minimizing total survey error, and it will be the approach we use in this class. It involves customized survey designs to fit the specific circumstance of each survey. There is no universal formula. However, the researchers must tailor their approach based on factors like survey topic, the target population, and available resources. TDM emphasizes that effective surveys are those that consider multiple variables to produce the most accurate and efficient results while minimizing sources of error. Survey administration methods can be classified into interview-administered and self-administered. These two categories require very different design and administration considerations. For example, complex, open-ended questions are best administered with an interviewer-administered survey because the interviewer manages the navigation to the question and can ensure compliance with the desired response format. With self-administered surveys, internet surveys can automatically handle complex escape patterns, while mail surveys require respondents to identify the appropriate navigation path. There are differences in potential for no-response error and measurement error between these types of surveys. When using more than one method in a mixed-mode survey, the survey designer has to consider if the design allows for comparable responses across survey methods. The TDM approach is grounded in three core principles: reducing error, encouraging response, and fostering positive social exchange. The first principle involves minimizing the four key sources of error: coverage, sampling, non-response, and measurement error. The second principle focuses on developing a survey that maximizes response rates by ensuring that respondents are motivated to participate. The third principle draws from social exchange theory, suggesting that people are more likely to complete a survey if they trust that the benefits of participation outweigh the costs. Together, these principles create a cohesive strategy for designing effective surveys. Panel surveys are an increasingly popular method in survey research, especially as the cost of recruiting participants continues to rise. In panel surveys, individuals are asked to participate in multiple surveys over time, often on different topics. This allows researchers to track changes within individuals and analyze trends over time. Internet panels are growing rapidly, offering a cost-effective way to conduct longitudinal surveys, although they require careful management to ensure that the panel members remain engaged and representative of the larger population. While big data offer valuable insights, it cannot fully replace surveys for answering certain research questions. When I talk about big data, I'm referring to obtaining logs from software such as virtual learning environments that the participants may have used. It refers to scraping the web, such as Facebook and Instagram. And this can provide very rich information, but the integration of big data with survey data represents challenges like merging the data sets. One challenge is making sure that you know that you are merging data of the same people. Also, data security can be a problem. As surveys rely on online platforms, ensuring the protection of respondent data has become a critical issue. Researchers must implement robust security measures to safeguard the confidentiality of the data.